Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. We begin with quite the interesting story. It's been nearly 40 years since a woman was murdered just outside of her apartment in St. Croix Falls. And today, 81-year-old Mary Jo Bailey was sent to prison for the rest of her life for doing it. The killing of Yvonne Menke shook the community she lived in to its core. And part of the pain since then has been that everybody was pretty certain that Mary Jo did it. But it was a crime in a time of no DNA or surveillance cameras, so it was nearly impossible to prove. Until now. Lou picks it up from here.
Jana, without any high-tech digital or forensic evidence, this 1985 cold case was tried just like it would have been back in 1985.
For 38 years, the murder of Yvonne Menke was a mystery to the people of St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. But those close to the case thought from the beginning that she was murdered by Mary Jo Bailey, a romantic rival, in a love triangle that had been going on for years. The man who was dating them both was local horse trainer Jack Owen.
Jack was a charismatic man who attracted the attention of a number of women.
Polk County District Attorney Jeff Kemp says by December 1985, the situation became unsustainable for Yvonne.
She gave Jack an ultimatum: either be with her exclusively or not at all.
And Jack chose Yvonne, which meant Mary Jo lost him, both as a romantic partner and as a trainer for her horses, which was Mary Jo's passion.
And to have those two things snatched away from her by Yvonne was too much to bear. And so she waited outside her apartment on a dark December morning and shot her to death.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth about yourself.
Yvonne's daughter, Julie Connors, was 20 and lived with her mom there. She says her mom went down to warm up her car before leaving work and was shot in the stairwell. After hearing gunshots, Julie could see someone running away from this view from her window. Julie testified that she's been haunted with guilt since that day because the day before the murder, a woman called and asked her what time her mom goes to work.
Why does talking about that make you feel emotional?
Because I feel the caller was the person who murdered my mom, and I told her everything she wanted to know to make it happen.
Police never found the murder weapon. They had no surveillance video, DNA, or other forensic evidence tying Bailey to the crime. But prosecutors had testimony from friends who said Mary Jo stalked Yvonne and Jack when they were together. And a key piece of evidence was this boot print left in the snow, which investigators turned into a plaster cast that matches a rare pair of Mary Jo's boots.
It was a woman's size 5 Arctic Cat boot. There just are not that many women that were a size 5.
And during the trial, the jury visited the crime scene, walking the stairs and seeing the parking lot themselves, which especially struck Judge Scott Nordstrand.
One of the things he mentioned during the sentencing was standing at the bottom of those stairs, you could sense Yvonne's loneliness as she was laying there.
It took the jury just 2 hours to convict, and this 81-year-old Mary Jo Bailey will now spend the rest of her life in prison.
This case was a lot like a puzzle, and it might be missing a few pieces. It was missing the murder weapon. We didn't have DNA evidence, but when you put it all back together, the pieces that we did have all showed one person.
And I asked the prosecutors why this was able to be charged now, but not in the 1980s. And they said that a lot of the pieces came together in the recent investigation, including the testimony about Mary Jo stalking. In addition, Mary Jo tried to get one of the witnesses with key information not to help police. And that was pretty damning in the trial, Jana.
Yeah, Lou, you know a lot about courts and trials. For our viewers, when cases are built on a lot of circumstantial evidence, they need a lot of it. It sounds like that's what they needed, those 2 more pieces in modern times.
Absolutely, and people think that circumstantial evidence is like worse evidence, but the fact is when you put it all together like they did in this case, it really proved the case.
Curious, Lou, too, I know you were listening to this trial a bit. Did Mary Jo testify in her own defense?
She chose not to. And not sure if it would have helped because they had a lot of other stuff against her that would have come into the trial if she did.
All right, Lou, thanks so much.